okay, your life is going great. You've got the job you love, you have an amazing family, group of friends, and then it all falls apart. This is Erin from the Todd and Erin Daily Stream. My poor husband is sick today. But we had this conversation with Kirk Bentzgen, who's one of our favorite people. Now, Kirk was on top of the world, an amazing family, very close to his dad and mom, and an incredible, incredible automotive empire. As a matter of fact, that's how we met Kirk, is through doing Christmas programs with him. He's the kind of guy who always wanted to give back. He always wanted to make sure that everyone else was taken care of. And then when there was the Great Recession and the big fall, Kirk lost everything, his entire automotive empire, everything he'd worked for. And then he lost his beloved dad to cancer. And then Kirk lost his family. He divorced his wife. And then, as the final blow, he found out that he had brain cancer. Now, at this point, what do you do? How do you handle your life? Well, Kirk tells you how, what you do when things fall apart.
So, if you take a look over the last 10 years, it's like you have to wonder who you offended, which one of the minor demigods decided to totally screw with your life, right?
Yeah, in more ways than 10.
Oh, so, first of all, you start with the divorce, the mother of your kids, woman you love, but there's the divorce. And then next is, was it your dad or was it the business?
The business, yeah. The economy took a hit and my bank went under and gave me 60 days to move many, many millions of dollars, and of course nobody at that time wanted to lend money, let alone a car dealers, so I just started selling everything for nickels on the dollar. I lost my dad to cancer, and then and we had already gone through some trials before that because we had lost my father-in-law to cancer, actually his window's probably right behind us. And then trying to make some good solid business decisions after that was quite difficult. And the priority was not business, it was more getting my family back.
He would come up to see the kids and just was so passionate, wanting to make things work, and my heart never left for him anyway. And I needed to see him prove it, so it took a little while, but we just kept building on our relationship and fell in love again, and even better now than it was before. So
it took me a while to prove that I was worthy of her again, but that was a priority. I took 2 years off and did some consulting, but basically just focused on putting the family together. That's when we became partners in a dealership again. It was good because since I wasn't working, I was able to take my dad to numerous doctor's appointments trying to figure out what was wrong with him.
Yeah.
So, and he died 51 days later. And then I was losing my eyesight and throwing up all the time. And they said, well, you're just getting old. We do that when we get older, we lose our eyesight. After a whole series of tests, she came in and she says, okay, well, I got to figure it out. You've got a tumor. And at that point, we just thought it was a tumor. And she called me and told me that there was multiple tumors. And so my friend Pace Mannion was in the front seat, and he could tell something was wrong, which is like what she just did, and he did what she did, which made it even worse, So I was trying to keep my composure so the kids didn't, because they didn't know anything at this point. We hadn't told them because we didn't know. And so we spent the entire trip to San Francisco Googling brain tumors.
How did you tell your kids? Because that's got to be a conversation I can't even imagine having. What did you say?
I just said, Daddy's sick and he's going to be in the hospital for a little bit and he'll be okay. I just kept telling him that he'll be okay and don't worry, but we've got to be there for him and stay strong. And then when they found out, they all shaved their heads. And we tried to be as positive as we could, but it was the cutest. We have this book and these pictures that they're all bald.
Did you do it at home?
Yeah. Yes, on the back patio.
And on the patio.
We just shaved everyone's heads.
We set an appointment with Bill Caldwell, yeah, we still didn't know it was cancer. We just thought it was tumors. So he's talking about this, and he's saying the tumors are all over. It's not operable, but we do need to, probably go in and, not probably, we do need to go in and do a biopsy. My mom said, well, and then how long after are we going to know if it's cancer? And he said, oh, nobody's told you. We already know.
Oh.
We just need to know what kind. They said that it was a high-grade glioma and that it was terminal. I just said to myself, well, that's just God saying it's my time. And but Dr. Caldwell came in and said, I disagree. And we're like, you disagree with what? And he goes, I disagree with the pathology team here at the U. I don't believe it's that type of a tumor. So we had to wait for another week or week and a half.
7 days.
Yeah.
That was the worst 7 days ever.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, 7 days to figure out if we were going to live or if we were going to die. So they came back and they said that it was a germinoma, which it's the same. The same. Can I speak freely?
Yeah.
I guess you can
You
edit.
will anyway.
Well, so a germinoma is what Lance Armstrong had, which is testicular cancer.
Right.
So they're, in essence, calling me a dickhead because I have testicular cancer in my brain. I mean, how does that happen? But Brandy full on agreed. She said, yep, it makes sense. I get it now. But but it did have an opportunity to be cured. The radiation that I experienced that they did for me was very intense, and to the point where a normal radiation for somebody would be here, and we were 4 times that amount in minutes that it would happen and length of time that it happened. I knew I was okay if I did die, not okay with it, but then all of a sudden I was a raging, no, I'm not going. And I didn't work this hard to put my family back together and make sure that I turned into the person that I always should have been, and then just to leave at that point. Was throwing up multiple times a day. I lost like 45 pounds in 3 weeks or 3.5 weeks, and we just couldn't figure out what it was. My son Braden, he came in and said hi, which he always did. Brandy was working. He said, I got some blueberries and made you a blueberry smoothie because I heard in health class today that blueberries can help with cancer.
And there's a period of weird synchronicity with this because one of your closest friends was also battling cancer.
So one night we were over there and Brandy and I were there, and I said, my dad's gone, her dad's gone. I don't know what, if people can really reach out from the other side, or, everybody always talks about it. And we met that night, and I said, you need to make me a promise and tell me that you're going to find a way to reach out to the other side, if there is a way. And we're going to put it on video so that when it happens, nobody can dispute that that's what happened. So we videoed it, and we were sitting there, and he said, what can we do? What can we do? Well, this guy smoked marijuana like it was going out of style, and I'd always joke with him about it. In fact, my mom even went and got a joint from him one time to see if that would help me when I was really sick. But
Your mother.
yeah, my mom, Miss LDS of the year.
That was shocking. She was like, whatever it takes.
I can see when you do it though.
we joked about that often, that it smelled like a skunk, and so I said, there we go, let's do skunk. You're gonna
most
say.
people think like butterflies or like
all
moonbeams
things
or yeah. You pick a skunk, sure.
He passed. I was taking his wife and her friend down to make the funeral arrangements, and while we're driving on the freeway down, we had this overwhelming smell of skunk, and we all just started crying, and our hair standing straight up on our arms, and it was, well, I was questioning everything, and I was driving home, and my office is a good 25-30 minute drive to my house, and I'm driving home, and I'm very frustrated and trying to talk to my dad, and I was yelling at him and at God, and I started yelling at Jordan, all right, come on, if you're there, and breathing in, and still can't smell the skunk, where are you? And I walked in the house, and Brandy just looked at me. She could tell I was distraught. We grabbed a bottle of wine and went downstairs. We were there for maybe 2 minutes, and the dogs started barking, and we have a very enclosed backyard and house where it's not real easy to get into things.
Wildlife can't just stroll through.
No, and all of a sudden we were blown away with an overwhelming skunk smell. And we actually had a skunk in our backyard. That sprayed all the dogs.
Sounds like your friends too would totally be like, this is gonna be
Yeah,
funny. They're gonna remember.
that's Jordan. He would do that. Here, I'll get you. I'll teach you not to think this. You got to smell this on your dogs for the next 2 days. I mean, here we are sitting in front of one of the best cancer institutes and research centers in the world, and they're working diligently every single day trying to find a cure, and they're making huge headway. And that's the thing that I think, look back at Jordan, and I think if he would have stuck with it, you never know if the way of treating it would have changed while he was maybe extending his life.
I think that you just have to stay strong. You really do. You have to stay positive, and you have to think that things are going to work out, and they do. And it's hard to get through it, but once you do, I've seen the stronger person that it's made him, the bond that it's created between our entire family. It's hard, but you'll get through it, and it's worth it in the end.
If you know somebody, or maybe you've been through this, where everything fell apart, how did you come back? What did you do to struggle back from the brink and be stronger than ever? We would love to hear the story and maybe share it with others. If you can contact us at toddanderin@gmail.com. We'll be back tomorrow with more immature hijinks. And of course, do not forget dinner for 4 at Christopher's Prime Steakhouse. And of course, we've got Dan Young from PC Laptops, the guy who's creating the millionaire mind. He wants to create 1 million millionaires, and I would like to be one of them. I'm pretty sure you do too. We'll see you tomorrow.